now. And Tanya, I will let you kick it off.
Gosh. Okay. So I guess if anybody's up here that doesn't know me, I'm Tanya, but I think everybody knows me. So this week we're talking about sponsoring because, well, that's what our incentive is, right? So I'm just going to jump right into it so that we don't go too long. So basically, you need to know why you should sponsor, right? But that's a question that everybody has to answer for themselves because not everybody is going to want to sponsor. But if you're here, I'm assuming that you do. So, but sponsoring comes with a responsibility. So you have to be prepared for responsibility, but it's also very rewarding because we all want to make as much money as we can, right? But when you have people join your team and that increases your paycheck and you get excited, but there's nothing like watching someone else be blessed by the opportunity that Scentsy has given them. There's nothing like watching someone else get excited because they earn or an award or they reach, their next promotion or they earn an incentive, things like that. There is nothing greater than that to me. It is the best thing in the world. But building a team is gonna increase your paycheck. But you have to remember one thing. If you are a sponsor, you have a team, you're not going to be able to just sit back and collect a paycheck off of those people. And that's one thing that I absolutely love about Scentsy. You can't say, okay, I've got 5 people on my team, I'm going to sit back and collect the paycheck off of them. Nope. You have to work. You have to have at least 500 PRV every single month if you're going to earn any money from your team, right? Because Scentsy not going to let you just sit back and reap the rewards from somebody else. You have to work. I mean, you don't go to your regular job and expect to just sit there and get paid and not do anything and earn money from everybody else. Well, some people might, but I don't. So they're a benefit to you, but Scentsy is going to benefit them. And that's the most rewarding part to me. Okay. So how are you going to sponsor? The number one rule to sponsoring is to ask everyone. And I know sometimes that's hard. We've all been guilty of it in the past. Like it's hard to ask everybody because 1, you're scared of rejection. 2, you don't want to ask someone and they join and then they not do anything. But you know what? That's going to happen too. Not everybody that joins your team is going to stay, and that's okay. All right. Let's see. I got to watch my notes so I don't run too long. So you're going to get lots of no's when you ask people to join, but all of those no's are worth it when you get that one person that says yes. Because trust me, I've been doing Scentsy almost 5 years now. October will be 5 years. And I get told no all the time, but I still get just as excited over someone that says yes as I did when I had the first person join my team. It never changes. Not only are you excited for yourself because you found someone to join your team, but you're excited for them and to see what they can do. Okay. So another way that you're going to get people is you're going to offer to flip every single host that has a party for you. Every single one. They might tell you no, and that's okay, but you have to offer it because if you don't, then the answer is no. Okay. So you have to ask, make a dream team list of people that you would like to have on your team, but don't just write their names down and be like, okay, these are the people I want. Write down why you want them on your team. Why do you think they would be good at Scentsy? What do you think Scentsy can do for them? How is it going to bless their lives? Okay. It's not all about you. Really, sponsoring is not about you at all. It's about the other person. So make that list of people and then reach out to them, but make sure that you're talking to them about how Scentsy is going to bless them. Okay. So for example, if you find a stay-at-home mom might be on your Facebook page, maybe you see her posting all the time about her kids, but you don't want to ask her, but you never know, that stay-at-home mom might be looking for a way to contribute to her household financially, but she doesn't want to work outside the home because she wants to be there with her kids. Hello, perfect opportunity for Scentsy right there. I mean, it's a no-brainer because they can be at home, they can work when they can work while their kids are napping. It doesn't take long. So when you make that list, I want you to commit to having 10 join conversations every week. Do we always get to 10? No. Sometimes, life happens, you don't get there. But if you make that a habit and do it consistently, then you'll get used to it and it'll be easier for you. Okay, so here's some tips for helping hosts become your consultant. Okay, so let's say you have a host and they are interested in joining, they're not quite sure. And you're like, okay, well, I'm going to help you out with that. So what you're going to do, and I've done this in the past with some people on my team, and it goes pretty good. You're going to tell them that you're going to give them some mini challenges throughout their party. Okay. So it doesn't matter if it's a bag party, Facebook, in-home. I don't care if it's a text party. You can give them challenges to do. You can come up with something. So let's say Judith is my host and she wants to earn her kit and try being a consultant, but she's not quite sure if it's right for her. So I'm going to tell her, okay, well, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to give you this bag. You're going to take it with you for a week, 2 weeks, whatever your time frame is. And throughout that week, I'm going to give you some challenges. And if you complete the challenge, each time you do, I'm going to put something in a bag for you. Okay. Sorry, guys. I've had this crazy mess going on. So you're going to put a prize in the bag for them. Now that can be, you might have a bar scent of the month on hand. You might have a car bar. I don't know. Maybe they've already bought like a mini fan diffuser from me. You've got some pods on hand. That might be one of your prizes. It might be a little bag full of samples, whatever your prize is going to be. It can be a nail file from the consultant store. You just want to throw little things in there. Okay. But you want to make these challenges simple, but you want them to be things that they would do as a consultant. So here are some examples for you, okay? So of course, in the first few days, you're going to want them to share that bag. So you might tell them on the first day, so your first challenge over the next 2 days, because you want to give them that day and another, is to share your bag with 5 people, okay? They might not get any orders. They might get 5, they might get 2, but you just want them to share that bag. So that's getting them in the habit of sharing Scentsy with everybody, okay? Then let's say after they've completed that challenge or that one's over, you're going to challenge them to get every single order form filled out completely. I usually do that with my hosts anyway, and I give them a free bar of the scent of the month, because whether they join or not, you're going to need that info. If they join, they're going to need all that contact info. And if they don't, you're going to need that to follow up later. Okay. So that's always a challenge I give. So then let's say a couple of days later, you're going to have them ask 2 friends if they are interested in taking that bag when they're done with it. Or if they're doing an online party, ask 2 people if they're interested in hosting one afterwards or in home, whatever you're doing. Then their next challenge could be something like ask everybody that orders if they have checked out the bundle and save options. I know you're asking me why, right? Well, the bundle and save is a great way to upsell. If somebody says, oh, I want to get 4 bars of wax, and you're like, well, did you know you can bundle and save and buy 5, get 1 free, so you're getting 6 for 30? That's upselling. So if you get them in the habit of asking people about bundle and save, then that's pushing them right on, right? And then the last one that I wrote down is ask 3 friends for a referral of somebody that might like to try Scentsy. Okay. They may not complete every challenge, but if you know that they really tried, like they might be messaging you, hey, I asked this person and they don't know anybody, like I don't know what else to do, give them the prize anyway. Okay. But if they complete it, obviously you're going to give it to them. And when you're done with that, if they have done all of those things, they've probably collected some orders. They've probably got somebody that's probably interested in taking that bag or hosting a party later. And they probably have at least one person that might be interested in trying Scentsy. So then if they join, that becomes their contact, their first party booked or second or whatever, however many they get, that becomes their new customers, and it's already done. And they've already experienced what it's like to be a consultant. So then you can tell them, hey, we're going to close your party out. You've got this many orders. If we were to flip it, you would earn this much PRV. Plus you have 2 hosts already lined up. You have other customers, and you're already in the middle of your launch party, basically. So, I mean, sponsoring is something that you have to be ready for, but it's also something that if you're going to offer that kit to your host, you have to be prepared to show them how this is going to help them. So if you can give them these tasks and they can complete it, then they see how easy it is to be a consultant. All right, that's it. I'm done.
That was great. That was amazing. That was perfect.
That was me talking really fast and my ears are super hot.
Well, somehow you put the whole experience in 10 minutes. So I don't know how you did it. Like from the from the beginning of like, why do you want to sponsor? Do you want to sponsor, all the way through? This is how you concierge somebody into like becoming like, a consultant from hosting a party. Like,
I learned a long time ago, you got to say what you got to say real quick.
yes, I love it. All right, Judith is going to go next.
All right, well, that's kind of hard to follow. So, okay, I'll try to be as quick and as thorough as Tanya. But so one of the biggest things for me on social media, and I have learned this by myself, and this is why I say this too, is are you positive on social media? And the reason I'm talking about social media is because that's kind of where we talk to everybody. And I'm trying to push myself also on talking to people, not only on just Facebook. I just recently got back on Instagram, but also trying to talk to people outside of there. But anyways, once you add people on social media, and I promise this goes on hand with sponsoring, is whether you add them to your VIP group or you add them to your business page or you add them to your personal Facebook. One of the biggest things you have to realize is, are you being positive on there? Also in person, when I lived in Winston-Salem, I saw somebody lose their business just because of what they were saying at a grocery store. Somebody recorded them, posted a picture of him. They found out who he was. Boom. The next day, his business completely gone. So are you positive on social media? Are you going political? Are you doing political rants? I've been there. Trust me, I've been there. I lost a lot of Facebook friends, which I was okay that I lost them, and that's okay. Are you creating drama, calling people out? I've seen that too. Are you creating fights? Dear sweet baby Jesus, I see all of that. I've seen Scentsy consultants going back and forth. And when people see that, they'll say, oh yeah, Judith, I wanted to go with you because I saw such and such going at it. And I'm just like, oh, really? I didn't see anything. But in reality, I was sitting there with my popcorn like, what in the world? So it's just something for you to keep in mind, okay? As much as I love to stir the pot, I've learned to type it all out and then hit that delete button, have a glass of wine. And, I may feel like a crazy person. Sometimes I just have that conversation with myself, but it's better to do that than do it on your business page and somebody end up calling you out and you lost everything you've worked hard for. Because trust me, it's hard to get it back. Second thing, please do not cold message. I still get cold messages from other consultants, not Scentsy, but like all the other brands that we have out there. I had one girl who cold messaged me yesterday. We weren't even Facebook friends. We weren't even friends. So she was just finding people to send messages to. And I was just like, okay, I don't even know you. So I didn't even reply. I didn't even look at her business thing. I was just turned off. There's ways that you can message people without being a cold message. Sorry, I thought I heard something and I freaked out. Be yourself, be authentic. People can smell the BS. Don't paint a picture of something that you are not. People can tell when you actually steal other people's wordings, pictures, etc. People know that is not you. Trust me, because I can sometimes look at somebody's post and be like, yeah, that girl did not do all of that. I know she copied it from Tanya because I know Tanya liked all the pretty emojis. I know because sometimes I'd be stealing hers. I'm sorry, Tanya. I try to switch it up, but you come up with all these wonderful emojis. I can't. I have like 3 top emojis and that's it. So sometimes I do steal off of that. And sometimes I'll steal off Sarah's group thing and I'll post it on our team page. And I'm pretty sure sometimes my team will be like, that's not Judith. And I can tell because if I just copy and paste something, I don't get that much interaction as when I actually genuinely do something that is mine. So yeah, people will smell that. They will know when it's something that's yours or it's not yours. Be consistent. We're all going through dry spells. Right now is one of them. But if you are going through a dry spell, do you let that stop you? Or do you say, you know what, let me keep pushing? And the reason I say this is because I have been through that too. I've been through a dry spell and I'm like, you know what? Nobody wants to join Scentsy. Anyways, let me get back to this Netflix show. Whereas I could say, you know what? Nobody is joining. Let me work on my PRV right now. And then next week, try again. Let me plant some more seeds or let me step back a little bit on that and continue doing that. That's okay. And that is what I am doing now. And that's why I decided to add that to my notes because I've been seeing it everywhere. It seems like, everybody's going through a dry spell. But we kind of did a challenge and we started pushing ourselves. And I know Alyssa had somebody join, Sarah had somebody join. I had one girl asking me questions about joining. So obviously, it was just us having to give ourselves that extra push. So keep pushing, even if there's a dry spell. Are you actually reaching out to your best customers or letting them come to you? I know, and I was the person that I was stingy with my PRV. With my top customer, I would be like, ooh, I don't want to ask them, because then if they join my team, there goes like 200 PRV a month. That's okay. Ask them, because sometimes if they realize it wasn't for them, they will stay as your customer. They will say, hey, you know what? This didn't work out for me, but I'm still going to be your customer, or I gave it a go. I have a girl that she was placing 300 PRV every month, every other month. And I asked her, I was like, look, do you just want to join and get, that 25% back? And she just buys it for her and her family. So technically she's just like a hobbyist, which is fine. But, it gives me that push at the end of the month if we have to meet numbers or whatever. So don't be afraid of asking, just ask. This brings me to a post that I actually posted on my team page and Sarah's team page. Do people know you're hiring? Because please, dear God, I have gone on so many consultants' Facebooks when they add me as a friend and they don't even have their website on there. And I have posted this on Facebook where I had to buy some nail strips from this girl. I was searching through her whole Facebook. I went through her group page. I went through her VIP page. Did not find anything. At the end of the day, I said, F it. I went to the nail strip page website, and I just put local consultant, and I ordered off her website, because I was that ticked off that I couldn't find her website. So that kind of made me think, how many people are doing the same for us? And if you actually go to the people in your team and look them up and you scroll, or not even scroll, but will you see it in their bio? And there's a lot of people that don't even have that, or don't even have Linktree, or they work at Scentsy, but that's it. They don't even have a website. There's some people, me included, who have social anxiety. Like right now, my ass is sweating. I'm like so nervous. I keep rambling through my words, but I'm not going to message somebody and be like, hey, what's your website? Because I know once I ask, do you want to host a party? No, I don't even have that many friends. And the ones that I do, I barely talk to them because I know we don't like each other like that. And then, then they're going to be like, oh, we'll take something to work. I work by myself. Like, I'm not trying to be mean, but I'm not trying to host a party. So I have that social anxiety. I'm not trying to ask all of those questions. I just want to go to their website, buy what I have to do, and get the hell out. So I know I'm not the only one. Please be sure that be sure that people know that you are hiring at all times. How often, I'm almost done, I swear. How often are you holding or having joint conversations? Are you just doing them when there are incentives? That's me. That is me. I'm just going to call myself out on that BS. That really is me, because for the last one, I did try, but I knew I wasn't going to get the PRV. So I wasn't really trying. I was just like, if we get it, we get it. If not, oh, well, I'm not that worried about it. It's Alaska. I'm not trying to freeze my ass off. I'm Mexican. I want to go somewhere hot, not somewhere cold. But, and now that this incentive, I really want that new light, because this one looks like hell. It's all foggy. I want a cool ass microphone. So now I'm pushing myself for this incentive. That's not the way it should be. That's not how it should be. It should not be an incentive. There should not be an incentive that is pushing me to be able to reach that goal, if that makes sense. Also, please teach your team what you are learning, even if they're not directly under you. Teach the ones that are 2, 3, 4 under you, because you never know who will leave and then roll up. And when they roll up, are they going to be clueless on what they have to do to sponsor or anything? So just be sure you're doing that. Aim for the nose. That goes with share with everybody, because you don't know who will surprise you. Your greatest team member could be that one person you thought would never join, and they could be a killer rock star, make some great PRV, light that fire under you. And that one person will be that one person that will kick off your whole business, because they will motivate you. They will put a fire under your ass, and you will just grow your team off of that. All right, I'm done. Sorry, Tanya. My heart's beating so fast.
No, that was awesome. That was great. I loved it. That was so good. So many, I made notes on top of the notes that I already had from you. That was amazing. So then Kimmy's gonna go next, and I'll just go ahead and let her get to it.
It helps if I unmute. So I don't know how to follow those two acts other than to say this. And I say this to say this. Contacts equal relationships, equal customers, equal recruits. Write it down. Contacts equal relationships, equal customers, equal recruits. You can't just go say, hey, want to join my team? If you haven't built a relationship, people don't join Scentsy, they join you. You have to build those relationships. And to do that, you're going to have to define what you really want and write it down. If you want to hit director, great, write it down. But you also need to know how you're going to get there. And there's steps between certified and director. So you can't just jump from one to the other overnight. You've got to get there. How do you get there? Right? It's kind of like building a house. You got to know, you got to have a foundation, and that foundation is built on something solid, and that solidity is your relationships. Even if that relationship's with the customer who's clearly not going to join your team because they have no desire to join, and I've got a few of those, but they know how to share your name, and they know how to share your information, and they know how to send people to you. So those contacts that you make, build relationships. And when you build those relationships, they become your customer. And the next thing you know, they're giving you, or they're becoming your recruit, your next recruit. Tanya touched on something about habits. She talked about mini habits. So when you're writing down those goals, you need to find one thing that fits those goals and do it every day. And if part of that is, growing your customer base or growing your team, then one of those mini habits needs to be building relationships with the people you contact with every day. Your goal every day is to talk to 5 people on social media, and it's nothing about Scentsy. How's your kid? That's the cutest dog I've ever seen. When did you get that dog? Don't just click like, actually comment. And maybe you really don't know how to start it. Go to their feed and look. Right? Because of all the algorithms, things are going to be crazy. You're not going to see everything. So go to their feed and look. Pick somebody, 5 people a day, and keep track of those 5 people. You'll be amazed. Don't feel like, oh, I'm going to go down a rabbit hole. If I start talking to Sherry about her little dogs, then she's going to have to tell me about how she uses her poo spray when her dogs go in the house because she didn't let them out at night. You're not going down that rabbit hole, guys. I promise you, you're not. You're absolutely building a relationship. And somewhere down the line, you're going to be able to say to Sherry, hey, Sherry, guess what else we've got for your little dogs? We've got a pet deodorizer. I bet your little dog would like that, right? So you slowly work that in there. Build your relationships, build your customer base, and then you'll build your recruits. It will happen. People don't join Scentsy, they join you. Which brings me to my last thought, and Judith touched on it too. People see through the BS. If you are not glitter and sparkles and high heels, please don't try and be glitter and sparkle and high heels. If you are mud boots and camouflage and a messy ponytail holder, be mud boots, camouflage, and a messy ponytail holder. This is Kimmy, right? I don't put on makeup very often, but when I do, Sarah posted that picture of the 6 of us the other day, and I'm like, yeah, right, that ain't me. These people gonna come to this meeting looking for something they ain't getting tonight. This is what you get. My customers know me, right? So that's, be you, because people are joining you. They're not joining Scentsy. They're joining you, and they're joining you because they see what it's doing for you. And my last thing that I leave you with is brand yourself. And your brand doesn't have to be, maybe it is sparkle and high heels. I don't know. Maybe it's long dangling earrings. For me, it's black and white cows, right? So all of my customers are now getting keychains or bracelets, right? Guys, I $30, or I was less than $30, and I've got 36 of these. That's 36 orders, plus a thank you card. It's even cheaper. I've got a stamp with a corny saying on it, right? Brand yourself when you go out. And then people are going to remember, hey, that cow lady right in the back of my truck says utterly fragrant. People wonder what that is. They're going to know you. And that's how they're going to join. You're going to find that commonality. You want a cow, right? Well, if you place an order with me, I'll get you a cow. I'll send you my website. Just kidding. But brand yourself. But the bottom line is be you. Define what you want, write it down, follow up, and be you. That's all I got.
Yeah, thank you, Kimmy. You are like seriously one of the most original with your branding and your authenticity. I think everybody can agree with that. Everybody, yeah, you're utterly fragrant. Like I would, if I was not a consultant, I'd be like going to your website.
Look, that was a nice way to say you're definitely crazy. I got that one.
No. That means you're my people. That means you're my people because that's what I look for. All right, so Sherry's gonna go next. I will not keep y'all.
All right, am I video and mute? Am I good? Somebody give me a thumbs up. Okay, good. All right. So you guys are awesome, and just like Judith said, we're all nervous. So you think like you were up here and we come natural to this, but we're all scared to death to come up here and talk about it. You know, so the biggest thing I can say about sponsoring is actually sponsoring is not my strong suit, but what I actually found is sponsoring came quicker to me when I was actually trying to achieve director. And so I sat down, y'all laugh, I said director, okay? So I sat down with Sarah and I laughed and I was like, you know, I've got to come up with all this I'm going to do every day, and ha ha ha, it's not going to happen, but this is what I'm going to try to do to make it happen. And what happened with that is consistency. I found myself putting myself out there every day, whereas I didn't before. You know, I kind of half-heartedly did it. I might throw out an order to somebody. I might post something on social media. I might reach out and throw some samples to somebody, but I had no rhyme or reason to anything I was doing until an incentive came up that I wanted to try to do, or that I wanted to try to get director. And then all of a sudden, every day I was doing something. And I came up with systems to make that happen after that, because like my calendar looked like my brain on crack originally when I first tried to do it. But I've come up with systems since then to help me. But what I found out is by putting myself out there more, people saw me more. And then people came to me. Like it became easier to sponsor because people started saying, you know, I mean, there was people who, you know, would buy Scentsy randomly here and there from different people. But when they came to join, like they came to me because they saw me out there working it constantly and putting myself out there constantly. So I say all that to say that some of it is not about always just asking, although we do want you to have the join conversations. Sometimes it's just putting yourself out there constantly. People seeing you work your business, and people seeing your love for Scentsy and love for the products, and they take you serious. If they think that you're half-hearted in it, they're not going to come approach you. Those are the easy ones, the ones that come approach you, you know. That's part of your sponsorship, is doing that. But you got to put yourself out there for that to happen. And so you got to kind of live what they say is hashtag Scentsy life, you know, put it out there where you're having fun, where you're getting together with us and you find your tribe. And, you know, like we all got together and we built this fire off each other at World Tour, which is those that show up, grow up, by the way. You got to come to events in order to get that fire. When I went to my first event, I double promoted after that event. I went from selling $500 to selling $1,800 all of a sudden. And it's because that event put that fire behind me. But, you know, we had all of us at this event, and we got this fire and we found our tribe and we posted it. And there's people out there looking for that, you know, and they see that it's genuine and it's real, and the friendships that you can build from it that you never thought that you would have. So if you're not out there sharing that with people, why would they want to come? And that puts another thing to it too. Like, I used to be scared to ask people. I think Tanya said, you know, you don't want to ask sometimes. So I say never assume that somebody doesn't want to do it. Some of my biggest buyers and some of my biggest sellers have all been people that I would have never like thought in a million years would be a buyer or a seller, you know, but you've got to approach them. You can't be scared. You got to go for it. No, you just got to put yourself out there. You know, my biggest customer come from a sales line. Y'all have heard that story 100 times. But then a couple of people who have joined my team, like if I hadn't brought the conversation up to them, they might not would have ever done it, you know. And then just bringing it up, there's been a few people that I brought it up to because I try to share the Scentsy life with everybody, because to me, if you're not doing it, it's almost selfish because you know what it's done for you. Okay. Everybody who is trying to grow a training team or is watching this video, you want something more out of Scentsy because you know what it's done for you. So why wouldn't you share that with everybody? And then so I got to the place that I started sharing more with people, and some of the people that were trying to buy, I was like, I don't know if I want to say, I don't know if this person can be salesy or not, but you can't assume, because some of the ones I thought wouldn't be are some of my top sellers, so don't ever assume that one person's not going to be the one that's going to be for it, because they may grab a hold of it and really see what it's going to do for them. And as you've seen through some of our stories before, your whys change. They may start out just being a hobbyist, and you're like, well, I don't even want to take time to join somebody for a hobbyist, but I started out as a hobbyist. My why on my page still says for the discount, and I leave it there for the reason to be able to sit back and laugh at it, because it has changed so much over time to something so much bigger than that. And so, don't count anybody out who might just want to be a hobbyist either, because they may become your biggest person, or their why may change over time. So just don't assume for anybody. Have the conversation with everybody. Put yourself out there constantly. Live the life and let everybody else know why they want to live that life with you. And then some people are going to come to you, but the ones who don't come, then you need to have the join conversations, just like everybody else has spoken about. And don't wait for an incentive to do it. That's what happened with me. I waited for this last incentive and I missed it by 500 points. Had I just been doing it the entire time, then I would have I would have been over the points, so don't wait for those kinds of things to happen, because as you start growing your team, some of those things are going to come to you easier when it comes to promotions and getting the certified people and getting the sponsor points, and the conversations are going to come easier too. So like everybody said, try to do the 10 join. I don't know what time. If I go over 10 minutes, somebody throw their hand up, because I don't know what time I started. But try to do the join conversations every day, and get yourself a dream team list. We kind of joked about it today, because Sarah had somebody on her dream team list who's now part of this training, and so get your dream team list together, and start your dream team list with people who have been previous hosts of parties. Those are going to be the first people there. They're the ones who've been interested in trying to get the freebies in the first place. Start with those, and there again, don't cold message if you haven't been talking about joining with them. Just reach out to them, have a general conversation. Kimmy spoke at World Tour about the genuine conversation she has with her customers, and it was amazing to hear and awesome to hear. And things, don't just reach out and talk about Scentsy all the time. Reach out and talk about other things and get to learn them and get to know them. And then, as you're talking about that stuff, then kind of like throw in there how Scentsy's kind of like changed your life. And, especially, kind of, your previous hosts will be the ones to start with this, and then just see, have they ever thought about joining? And I think several people have talked about the party flipping, but always offer at the end of a party that option. And, option one, you can make $500, from this, or $250 from this, and, start your own business. Or, I can take this and make the $250, and you can just get these freebies and just see, you might have somebody who's like, oh, you know what? Gosh, that was kind of easy. I could do this. Because when I joined Sarah, it was because I realized I gave her two $250 parties, or $2,000 parties. So she pocketed that $500. And I'm like, why am I going to keep doing that? So make sure to offer that option to everybody. And in order to offer that option to everybody, you've got to be offering parties. Parties are a way of life. Parties are a way of PRV. And then parties are a way of having a chance to flip a party to be able to sponsor. And then I think somebody said something like they didn't want to lose PRV originally. I think Judith said that, so she was kind of like she wanted to hold on to her PRV. So don't be scared of losing that PRV, because those people can grow for you. They can grow a team. They can grow the GWV that gets you a promotion. And then that just needs to make you work just a tad bit harder to find a replacement for that PRV. So I think that's it. I'm really just trying to make sure I don't go over 10 minutes, and I think I hit on everything. So I'm going to leave it there and let somebody else go for it.
Awesome. Thank you. I don't know why y'all say that y'all are nervous, because I feel like just listening to y'all is like I'm listening to a bunch of SSDs. So I'm just saying. And every time I talk to Sherry, I swear to God, I feel like I talk to a therapist, because she's just like, here's the reality. And she's very honest, and she's always like super positive though. So I don't know. Y'all are just bringing me up. I love it. So Alyssa can say something next if she wants to. I'm gonna mute myself again.
Yeah, can you guys hear me? Okay, awesome. Well, I don't know. I've been sitting here with my palms sweating because yes, I get nervous.
Mom spaghetti.
Yeah. But anyways, to follow up all these wonderful ladies, you know, the biggest thing is, like Sherry was saying, know your why, because your why is going to drive you, right? It's going to decide, do you want to sponsor? Do you want to remain a hobbyist? Do you just want to get some money back on your own purchases? So know your why and really dig into that. And as Judith was saying, don't wait until an incentive period. Let your why be your incentive. Let it be your incentive to drive you to get to where you're going. And share your why. Tell everybody why you're doing this, why you joined, because some people are like, oh yeah, you just joined a pyramid scheme, or oh, you're just, you know, you're just trying to sell me something. No, share why you joined and where you want to go with this company, because people don't know and they're going to assume things. So the more you talk about it and the more you're open with it, the more people are going to want to be involved, right? And then talk about how Scentsy has blessed you, has blessed your life and has changed your life, and the things that you know, like I've grown as a person. I used to be, well, I still am really, I'm shy, and it takes me a while to come out of my shell, but I've grown so much, and this has really helped me see the potential in myself. You know, we have a group chat, and I was talking earlier today saying, I don't feel like I have anything to contribute. But I do. I know that I do. And these ladies have helped me see that. So share, talk about it, talk about what Scentsy has done for you, because people are going to want to see that and they'll see the potential. Like everyone has said, always, always, always offer that earn a kit. You know, I have a almost $800 party right now that I'm waiting to close out. But since Harry Potter is coming out on Thursday, I'm waiting even more because I've got more orders coming in. But don't be selfish with your rewards. You know, yes, I could get a lot of free stuff with that. And I have a big wish list, which that's why I joined, right? But don't be selfish. I can take some of those rewards and then I can offer the rest of that. And I either offer a free kit or a very, very discounted kit. But don't be selfish. Always, always, always offer it, because you never know who might be thinking about joining. But let's face it, not everybody can drop $99, you know? So always, always, always offer that. Reach out to everybody. Don't just rely on a post saying, hey, I've got a free kit, who wants it? And then wait for people to hop on that. Reach out to people. If you know, if someone comments on it, if someone likes it, if you know that you know, someone's been maybe thinking about it, or just say, hey, I know that you're a huge spender. You love Scentsy. I've got this kit. What do you think? Just always, always offer and talk to people. Don't rely on those posts. As everybody said, be genuine, be yourself, because people will know if you're not being yourself. And like I said, talk to your best customers, because they could be the ones that will help push you to the next level, right? And they could start off as hobbyists. I have one person who every time she orders from me, and it's hit or miss, it could be a couple months or it could be every month, but she always orders at least $200 worth of product. I've talked to her several times, just said, hey, why don't you stop giving me your money and make money back on your own purchases? No, I don't want to. No, it's not a big deal right now. But I guarantee you, one day she's going to change her mind, and I will be there when she does. And until then, I'm just going to keep dropping those little hints. And that's all you can do sometimes, because eventually they're going to realize, hey, maybe there is something to this. And maybe I should have taken her advice 2 years ago, but you know. And last but not least, just do it scared, because at the end of the day, none of us truly know what we're doing, right? We fly by the seat of our pants sometimes. And I mean, I'm scared to death right now. I hate talking. I hate it. But I'm here because I see the beauty of this business, and I see what it's done for people, and I want that. So just do it scared, and I guarantee you great things are going to come. That's all I got.
Mic drop, y'all. Y'all are so good. Do it scared. No kidding. Like, yes. Like I have gotten extra nervous just after listening to all y'all talk because this is so good. Seriously, like I will add my own experience to the end of this, but I feel like you have all touched on everything that I do. And I just want to like take my cat's meowing because he's hungry. I'll take one moment to talk on each frontline that I have on this call, just because I mean, we're talking sponsoring, right? So this is my experience. I did not ask Judith at all. I did not ask her. She and I had a mutual love for animals. She came to me, and I'm so glad she did. Like, look what she's doing. I barely asked Sherry because she had so many other consultants. She bought from like 3 or 4 people, right? And I was intimidated. I was like, well, she's hosting a party with me. I'm so excited. I don't know why she chose to host a party with me. And she did 2 parties. And like she said, she did like $1,000 parties. I like casually mentioned it because I was like, yeah, you can join, whatever. And she's like, yeah, you know. And then she ended up deciding that was right for her. I did not, you know, looking back, I probably could have got her to join a lot sooner. You know, I love that we have the flip a party option and stuff now. I think we all had to like kind of like ease ourselves into that reality that was a really good thing. Kimmy and Tanya, I was fortunate enough to inherit. Like, how is this my dream? This is my dream team right here, y'all. Y'all are here. Alyssa attended a party of a mutual friend of ours, and she's a really, really cool person, really good friend. Her party didn't do that great. Like, it was fine. Like, she got a couple orders, that kind of thing. And I was like, she's such a sweet person. I was like, you know, directing online orders to her party, that kind of thing. And I met Alyssa through that party, and I was like, I like this girl. Like, she's really cool. Like, she loves Scentsy. And I dropped her party off at her house. I mean, I dropped her order off at her house, even though she lives in Zebulon. I live in like Pine Tops. I'm not that far, like what, like 40 minutes maybe. And but I also was like kind of like snuck in a bag party when I dropped off her order. I was like, I'm gonna drop off some testers. So she was like, okay, yeah, it's fine. And like I was like, you're about to join my team. I need you to. Like, I saw something in her. I really did. I didn't want to be that creepy person, so I was just like being super casual about it. But she did it. I mean, she was like, sure, yeah, it's fine. She hosted a Facebook party, and you know, the rest is history. Like, I'm nobody. I'm just like a small town girl living in a lonely world. And all of y'all had joined my team. Like, what the what? So just that's my appreciation comment. I'm only gonna go for 5 more minutes so we can have 10 minutes for questions. But okay, what are Scentsy's core values? Simplicity, authenticity, generosity, right? Okay, when it comes to sponsoring, why not use all those, right? Simplicity, okay. So I thought back to the basics. Like, when I think about sponsoring, what do I think about? I think about who I want to, like, who would I want to join? Who did I join? I joined my sister-in-law, Devin. What about her made me trust her? She already was like somebody I super trusted. She like always saw the best in me. She was always like one of my biggest cheerleaders, one of my best friends. So I was like, of course, like I felt confident, you know, just from her, right? She had always pumped me up, like made me believe in myself when I was like, you know, other friends, family members would have made fun of, you know, Scentsy, or like trying something different, or, you know, just like made a snide comment or whatever. She was like, you know, I joined her like a month after she joined, because she was like, and I didn't even look back because of her. We just already had that trust bond. So like, are you projecting what you'd like to see in a sponsor? And, you know, we've heard this a lot of times, but your vibe attracts your tribe, right? Gotta love that. That's all you need. And, you know, I'm pretty much just saying what y'all have already said, but do what successful people do. So if you think about Heidi and Orville, I just go all the way to the top with my example. Do you know how they think about politics? No, neither do I, right? So you can be authentic, honest, and true to yourself and still be classy. That's my opinion. I've seen it done hundreds of times. Like, I'm not going to tell you that that's the formula, because a lot of people speak their entire truth and, you know, go like, I'm trying not to say, I'm trying to keep this PG for YouTube. They go balls to the wall with like exactly their opinion on everything. That's fine. I mean, I'm not hating it. It really doesn't even bother me. But I think back to my grandparents. My grandparents, like they called that the greatest generation for a reason, I think. My grandparents were like World War II veterans, like that generation, because I'm old. But I remember going to the voting poll with them when I was a little kid, and it was at the post office. And I went and I had, they were babysitting me or whatever, so I had to go into the poll with them. And we left, and like at that age, I was like, I didn't know what else to ask, but who'd you vote for, Grandma? Who'd you vote for, Grandpa? And they told me Mickey Mouse, because they were that damn classy. Like they weren't even going to tell a kid who they voted for. I mean, I don't know. To me, that just kind of like made an impression all the way from that age of like, not that you don't talk about your beliefs and position on things like that, but I don't know. It's just sort of like, it really affected me in a like what's important to talk about socially. So, if you don't want to sell or sponsor to anyone who doesn't always agree with you, then you aren't a business person. That's just the reality of it. If you want to, some people aren't going to be your tribe. I get that. Like, you're not going to recruit somebody who's negative on social media, that kind of thing. I'm not going to go after that person either. But stay true to who you are. But always, keep looking up to your role models. My other grandma, Audrey, she basically saw the best in everybody, like all the time. And that's like who I want to be. So, like throughout all the trials and tribulations of life, I don't let outside influences change who I am ultimately. That goes along with everybody, that's talking about being authentic and being who you are. If you're not a certain thing, you don't have to like subscribe to like be in a certain way or certain mindset. And continue to show who you are, how you're working, and build authentic relationships. The girl that joined my team yesterday, I've been working on her since I began, like since I started, I think. Like I've known her since the beginning, and she's hosted for me. I've asked her, and it's not been the right time. She's probably in the busiest season of her life. Oh, I don't think she'd mind me saying that. And now it's the right time for her though. So if I hadn't asked her thinking she's too busy or she's going to tell me no yet again, and I didn't just bring it up like that's the only time I've talked to her in 2 years or something. Like I talk to her all the time. I was like, okay, so I have this slightly discounted kit. What do you think? And so you really never know. Really sheer consistency is going to be your number one tool. Perseverance and consistency. Where there's a will, there's a way. The grandma that I was talking about with this all the best in everybody, she raised like 5 kids on her own, 5 girls on her own, had tons of health problems as, when I knew her later in life, and she was just always a bundle of joy to be around. So my last example of her, just because I don't know, I'm in my grandparents' field today. She had carpal tunnel surgery on her right hand. She was right-handed. And I was older then. I was like an older teenager, maybe early 20s. And instead of making excuses she couldn't drive, she had this like handle installed on her steering wheel, like a knob. We called it the knob. And she could like turn the wheel with the knob. And that was my grandma, because she did not make any excuses. So it's like, I don't know, like life happens, and like we're always in these ups and downs, but where there's a will, there's a way. And that's just like how I feel. And I'm saying this to myself in a lot of ways, because I definitely went through a season of non-growth as far as my team lately. Like some things happened last year, and I let myself not earn the last incentive, and that was really eye-opening. So that's really it. I think y'all have absolutely covered it. So I'm going to open it up to everybody that wants to unmute and ask questions. We have 10 minutes left.
I just wanted to add 2 things to it, and I feel like Tanya probably touched base on it for like a second, and I feel like after that none of us ever mentioned it, but I feel like this goes without saying that also with sponsoring comes great responsibility. So that means that if you decide to be a leader, you need to step up. You need to be able to teach these people what to do, not just join them and then be like, okay, good luck, sis, and they never hear from you again, because that's horrible. like I said, I'm a person that has anxiety. If I would have just joined and Sarah would have been like, all right, and I would have never heard from her, I would have been like, what the heck, dude? Like, what is this? And mind you, me and Sarah, we joined close to the same time. I think she joined in like 2 or 3 months later. I joined too. So we always joked around about blind leading the blind, because I would ask her and she would be like, I don't know, let me ask somebody else. And so, I mean, she answered me. She didn't know, but she went and found the answer and then she came back. Mind you, Scentsy has changed a lot since 2015 to now. There's a lot of resources now to where if somebody joins, they really can look it up. But still, you know, I'm not saying spoon feed the person, but be there their first 75 days, showing them the way, what they have to do. That doesn't mean just have somebody join your team and all right, well, best of luck and thank you. And I guess I'll just see you whenever I need to get those last PRV points for an incentive. Because I've seen that. I've seen, you know, people that join, you know, that have people join their team and they're like, hey, I'm only 300 PRV away from my incentive. Can you place a party order or whatever? That's just rude. But thank you, Tanya, for saying that. Yes, it does come with a lot of responsibility. And the last thing I do want to say is don't be afraid of the no if they say no. What did I say about the 3 F's? F it. Keep sharing. That's all I got to say. If you don't know about the 3 F's, I will later tell you more about the 3 F's in my own personal time.
We're saving this for YouTube.
That's okay. Heidi Normal.
Yeah, we can't share the 3 F's on this.
They're not ready for that.
I love it. I love it. So does anybody who's joined like have any questions? Like you can drop them in the comments or you can ask them. You can unmute yourself and ask. We really appreciate you guys coming on. I really appreciate everybody who spoke. That was like insane. That's probably the best meeting we ever had. So just saying.
So I do want to add a couple things. One thing Judith touched on was like not like arguing on Facebook with people and being political and all. If you see somebody that is bashing Scentsy, please don't argue with them. Please don't. Because once you do that, it just reinforces their beliefs on Scentsy and direct sales in general. Please don't argue back and forth with people. Just move on and just let it go. Because honestly, it's not worth your time and you're not going to change their minds. And another thing, sharing and being positive on Facebook or social media, don't be afraid to share that you earned an incentive or you reached the next level, you promoted, or you reached a certain goal, because when people see that, then they see that if you can do it, they can do it. So don't be afraid to shout yourself out. And as far as offering the kit to your host, keep in mind that if your host doesn't want it, you can offer it to somebody else in the party. Your host doesn't have to lose their rewards. As long as there's 1 penny left, you can add that kit in there for somebody else to get it. So just keep that in mind. And that's it. I'm done.
I love that.
I wanted to add something real fast.
Yeah.
I have had the worst luck with sponsoring, but you can't let that like stop you. I've had people join for like 6 months and then decide it's not for them. I've had people who I've had the join conversations with that I've followed up with, that I've given my join link to, and they're like, no, not right now. And then like 2-3 days later, I see them posting, hey, I'm a Scentsy consultant. And I'm like, you didn't sign up with me. But like, as you just pointed out today on Facebook, it's, you know, that they may not have been right for my team. They may have not have been right for what I'm trying to do with my business. And they may drop off in a couple of months. One of them actually, Judith, tonight, I found out she quit. She quit like a month later. And I was like, there you go. So you just can't let the bad ones discourage you. There's always a reason, and you may not know the reason why they didn't join with you, but it will come to light.
Someone joins under someone else, bless and release. There's nothing else you can do. I had somebody do that, and that girl messaged me all the time asking me questions, and I'm sitting back thinking, you didn't join my team. Why don't you go ask your sponsor? But you know what? I still helped her, because you never know. She may cancel and then decide to reinstate later, and she might reinstate under me. You never know.
And can I talk to that for, I want to talk to that for just a second. And I don't know if Alyssa remembers it or not. I met Alyssa 2 years before Sarah did. I met her at an event. She won a Scentsy Go from me at that event, and I too delivered it. And I probably stuck some join info in there. But you know what I didn't do with Alyssa? I didn't build a relationship. And you know what else wasn't right? It wasn't time for Alyssa. It wasn't her time. And when she joined Sarah's team, I'm like, dang, that name's familiar. That name is familiar. And I got to looking and I'm like, that was my loss. No, it wasn't. That was my biggest gain, right? Because what I got from that was a lot of insight that one, I wasn't ready to sponsor. I was just handing out join info, right? I wasn't building relationships. And two, it wasn't her time, right? Sarah built a relationship and then bam, look what happened. So that's when you're talking about it's slow. I've been there. And when you get that first one and then you're so connected, it's like having that first puppy or that first kitten and you're loving it to death and then it disappears, it gets lost or something happens to it. You're crushed. You don't want another one, right? Or what if I get another one and the same thing happens? It's like Tanya said, bless and release. Everything's an experience and it's not for everyone at the same time.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that. I had one girl who had bought from me, and we had, conversations about her joining, and she ended up joining under her friend because it was a friend, and she had just started, her friend had just started as well. So she's like, can you help me? And I was like, you know what, I sure can. She came over, I trained her basically. And people tell me I'm stupid for that, but you know what? I'm not, because if she does, she's recently, gone inactive after that. And I didn't lose anything but like 2 hours out of that. I knew the girl anyway. I would not have minded spending the time with her anyway. And I didn't, give anything up except for like, I had a good feeling after she left. So if she comes back, she'll come back to me, I'm sure. Because she was one of those who was like, oh, well, I don't want to be under her anymore. She doesn't know anything. I want to change to you. And I'm like, that's not how this works, bro. That's not how this works. Like, you chose her.
Yeah. She might end up referring somebody. She might be like, hey, Sarah,
right.
You're a really good person. You should go to her. So
yeah, you're right. Somebody was like, told me I was done for that. And I was like, I don't care what you think.
And you never know who is going to join your team. I will be honest. My sponsor is my stepdaughter, Ashley. She asked me one time to join. I said no. She never, ever followed back up with me. But one day I decided, okay, I'm just going to try this because I need some extra cash. And I joined under her because she's the only person that had ever asked me. But you just never know. And when you see somebody and you're like, oh no, she's too busy, she wouldn't be good at this. Sometimes those busy people are the best people because they are the best multitaskers and the best people at prioritizing and organization. You just never know.
Absolutely. Like the girl I told you that just joined, like, I feel like she's busier than she's ever been. And every time before she was too busy. And not to discount her, like she probably was, or she felt that way, but this was when she felt like it was right. So like, but the seed was planted.
Yeah. And when somebody tells you no, it's not necessarily no forever. It could be not right now, or no, I don't think I can do it, because they are second guessing themselves. And it's just their way of saying, no, I can't do it because of I'm too busy, or I can't do it because of this. It's really because they don't have the confidence in themselves. Right. So it's really more of a not right now, unless they flat out say, no, don't ever ask me again. Don't write them off.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, I was a not right now, and then I joined later, so the not right nows do come back at some point, and it goes back to just don't assume that, like I said, some of the ones who have joined my team that, originally I thought might be too busy or something like that have turned out to really be very successful with it. So don't assume that anybody is not the right fit.
That's right. And like Sherry, for me, was probably a learning experience because she was not right now. And I was like, I kind of like half-heartedly gave up because I was like, she'll probably join in somebody else. I'm not cool enough,
And but, if you plant a seed with someone and they don't join your team, but 6 months down the road or 3 months down the road, or even 3 days, in the case that you saw, Ashley, they join someone else's team. If it works out for them, then Scentsy as a whole has blessed them.
Yes.
And you do share a part in that.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because you started that seed, and who knows where it's going to blossom from there. You never know.
Oh my goodness. Share with people the friendships that you make through Scentsy. Oh my God, I would have never known Kimmy before. And now every Friday night I'm at Kimmy's house. I stay at her house every Friday night. We do some things that are normal, and sometimes we go a little crazy, but hey, that is my best friend. And I would not know Kimmy if it weren't for joining Scentsy. You know how it all started? At a freaking team meeting that Sarah did. I was talking about this cup in the consultant store, the purple coffee cup with the butterflies that changes colors. And she was like, oh, I have an extra one that you can have. That right there was the start of a friendship. And I would have never known her had it not been for Scentsy. So when you meet people through this, share that on your social media. Let people know the things that you are getting out of Scentsy, not just money. Because for some people, it's not even about the money. Some people want vacations, or they just want people that they can, you know, connect to. They're not always about money.
They just want a friend.
Exactly. And I totally get that, because, you know, this has become like, is blooming into a career for me, but also I consider every person on this call my friend. Like every
Yes.
one of you invites me over to your house for dinner, or like we go out for coffee, or we go for margaritas, or, you know, all of the above. Every one of you. And I've never had this many girlfriends, you know, in my whole life.
Me either.
Me either.
Right? So this is like, I mean, if Scentsy crashes tomorrow, like we still going out for margaritas.
That's right.
And I don't see that happening, but like whatever.
I mean, Kimmy and my husband threw me a birthday party last year, and I don't remember ever having a birthday party in my life.
Yeah.
And Sarah was there. She was a part of it. Like, that's something that I will never forget. And it's come through Scentsy. So you just never know what Scentsy is going to do for somebody. You never know.
Yeah, I agree with that. Kimmy and
And-
Tanya threw me
I'm
an
sorry.
80s birthday party. that
Kimmy and Sarah have seen me pretty drunk. So a little crazy. So hey, that's what it is.
And don't always approach folks from the standpoint, someone just touched on it, and I don't know if it was Sarah or Tanya or who, but don't always approach someone from the standpoint of it can financially help them. For me, this isn't a financial journey. My husband has a good job. We live on his income. This is extra spending cash, but even if it's not there, for me, it's connections to the outside world. It's friendships, it's relationships. So you never know what someone's craving. Or maybe it's even just that ability to feel like you are contributing in some form or fashion. You know, I mean, so never think of it as just financially how's it going to benefit them, because it may be something way more than that.
Absolutely. I don't know who said it earlier, maybe Judith or Sherry, about not arguing with people. Like, don't argue with them, type it out and let it go. And that is like, I was like, yes, that's exactly what I do. I've typed so many things out, like cathartically, like it just like helps me release it. And I'm like, that would do me no good, or do that person no good for me to say that to them.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing's going to change. And
if you really need to vent to somebody else, like honestly,
yes.
I'll use my mama for an example. She put a post on Facebook over the weekend, and she was like something about, you know, people being shady. And I was like, are you okay? And she was like, call me tomorrow. You can ask Kimmy. I was at her house. I texted my mama. I was like, can I call you now? Because I didn't know if somebody was there. And she was like, yeah, you can call me now. And she was able to vent to me because she knew better than to say anything on Facebook, because she knew what it would start. So that's like, you know, find somebody you can vent to if you need to. Just don't put it all over social media. Don't argue with people, because it just makes you look bad. It really does.
Not only
Now,
that,
I won't say that I've never done it, because sometimes
we all
you
have.
know it happens.
We all have.
not only that, but we now live in a time where all it takes is a screenshot. Just keep it real.
Yeah.
All it takes is for somebody to screenshot it. And that's why I don't even post where I work at, because before, the girl that they fired before me literally got fired because she went to a parking spot, Harris Teeter. And you know how Harris Teeter has the veteran parking spot right there, right at the front. It has like veteran parking and then expecting mothers or people with children. And she wrote on there, but she wrote something about like, why do veterans get special care? And of course it blew up because, hey, this is America. We love our veterans. We do. Mm-hmm. And of course they all started calling where I work at, saying, you need to fire her. You need to fire her. And people were harassing her. They were coming to Duke Hospital, to where she worked at, to get her fired. So that's all it takes is for you to really mess with one person. They screenshot where you work at. And technically, like, Scentsy can't really like say, hey, we're going to kick you out for this, but you never know. Don't try it.
Well, and let's be honest, like, I'm not saying veteran stuff, because, you know, they deserve what they get. But some people are just really petty and
Yeah.
it doesn't take much to offend them. And they are just like gone, like way over there, like off their rockers. And have you ever thought about like this? If you ever see somebody, they are quick to hop on Facebook and bash a place that they don't get good service at or whatever reason, and people are all on it. But if they post that they had a good experience, how many comments do you see?
Right.
They are all about the negativity. So you just have to be careful with what you put up there, because one person can ruin your business a lot quicker with a negative post than they're going to bless you with a positive post. I can promise you.
Sure. That's always hurt my heart that like a positive post just doesn't go anywhere half the time. And then like the negative ones like go viral.
People are all about the negative post.
I know. And I hate
without
that.
even knowing really what's going on. They got to
Yeah.
put their 2 cents in.
That's
So,
right. Because social networking is it like it wasn't built to be a place to fight. It was, it's supposed to be a place for friends. And social selling is like a platform that is like, that's the reason I'm on there. Honestly, like I don't want to lose touch with a lot of people that I know from high school, the few friends I have left from high school, the family and stuff like that. I love seeing people's pictures of their dogs and their babies. Like it doesn't have to be a negative place.
Yeah. Just keep in mind, word of mouth goes a long ways, and you don't want negative words coming out of their mouth.
Yes. Absolutely. Does anybody have any questions or anything to bounce off anybody else? I think we have pretty much stuck to the time. Look at us.
We did good.
We really did. It's
Yeah.
like 9:08. All right, so I'm going to stop the recording.